and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. You know, after 2 weeks of a dreadful comic, I feel the need to kick back and look at something that people often don't pay attention to. Comic book advertisements.
Hold it right there!
Ah, Mr. McNitpick, I've been expecting you.
You're gonna review comic book ads? Clearly you ripped that off of the Nostalgia Critics commercial special!
Yeah, I did.
What?
I am totally ripping off his idea.
But aren't you supposed to be, like, all defensive?
Nope. I freely admit it. People saw the commercial specials and wondered if I could do the same thing, but with comic book ads. So, I decided to give it a shot. Anything else?
You should at least ask him permission to do it!
Okay, I'll ask him. Hey, Nostalgia Critic, is it okay if I look at some comic book advertisements?
People still read comic books?
He says yes. Are we done yet?
He didn't say yes! He didn't say yes! That means you're not allowed to do it!
You don't watch my show very often, do you, douchey?
I have better things to do with my time, like calling the nostalgia chick a whore for not conforming to my standards of beauty. Why can't she look more like Benzai?
Well, I only bring it up because if you did watch my show, you'd know that I have a spaceship.
Ha! You don't have a spaceship! You're just an untalented internet reviewer with the worst voice ever! Oh, sweet Jesus! Ah!
Oh, how I do love owning a spaceship. So, let's dig into some comic book advertisements.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a pretty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's
We're gonna do these in no particular order and no particular context. I'm just grabbing advertisements from any random comic I have, anywhere from the last 50 years worth of stories. Comic book ads tend to be focused towards the demographics of comic books, usually boys and men, from younger kids to adults depending on what era the comic came out in. So naturally, here's an advertisement for a Sega Genesis game. Subterranea! Gravity is the law. Obey or die. Logically, if you disobey the law of gravity, then you don't die. You float. Heads up! Your experimental attack fighter is the miners' one hope for rescue from the savage alien forces. Well, considering the larger image shows the experimental fighter flying away from the savage alien forces, I'm gonna guess the miners are screwed. Oh, and check it out. This is actually a 2-page ad. The other page talks about a contest for the game. For some reason, part of it is a fake, ripped-out want ad. Wanted, Monster Hunters. Sega has immediate openings for an individual with nerves of steel, lightning-fast reflexes, and a dislike of tourists. Are you a bad enough dude to save the president? As well as punch some innocent vacationers? The contest is that they have to play Subterranea on its hardest setting, defeat the last boss, and take a picture of the victory screen. However, it says the entry form has to be postmarked between April 1st of 1994 and July 15th of 1994. So, technically, if I did do that and found a way to get it postmarked for that date, wouldn't they technically have to honor the contest? Just asking. It does also make me wonder how many kids entered these contests using Game Genie to speed along until the final screen. The one thing that does actually bug me is that you have to send in the contest entry form, which is this little rectangle. All well and good, but it means you have to cut out part of the comic. Yeah, they didn't put the entry form on another ad or anything. You have to lose part of the comic's story. And why would I ever want to cut out a piece of a priceless, irreplaceable thing like Black Wolf #1. It also says on the cover that he's the next generation of hero. I'll shut up. Here's one from the 70s. Amazing $1 offer. 10 Super Rock Iron-On transfers. So, is there a difference between rock and Super Rock? Does Super Rock have, like, guitars and bagpipes or something? Here's a chance to get 10 Iron-On transfers of your favorite rock stars photographed live in concert. Enough to customize your entire wardrobe. Yes, we could just print off actual t-shirts featuring those rock stars and sell them for a lot more money, but we're kind of lazy, so we decided to have you do all the work. Speaking of $1 offers, check out this amazing $1 offer. Charming charm pendants. Oh, these charm pendants better be friggin' charming, or I'm gonna sue someone's ass! Yes, get these charming charm pendants, like this charming, razor blade. Also, mushrooms are charming, evidently. Back to the 90s, let's check an ad that I know a lot of comic fans will love. Smilin' Stan Lee's coming to your TV! Who else could possibly host Marvel's first show on HSC? What gets me is that they say it's the first show. Did they plan on having more than one Marvel show on the Home Shopping Club? Yep, that's right, the Home Shopping Club, aka the Home Shopping Network. Marvel apparently had a show advertising signed comics and merchandise in the mid-90s. I can't find any real info on it, like how long it lasted or anything, though. Because when you think of comic book readers, you think someone who watches the Home Shopping Network. As you can see by the advertisement, the one they're talking about lasted 3 hours for 2 showings in May of that year. Want the lowdown on the highlights at Marvel? Tune in to Stan the Man Lee, Marvel's publisher and creative genius, on the Home Shopping Club. Yes, the creative genius behind such thrilling comics like Nightcat. Let's go back to the early 80s for a bit. The magic in gum is bubble yum. Is that the same kind of magic that's in a young girl's heart and how the music can free her whenever it starts? There's magic in Bubble Yum's #1 taste. The fantastic flavor lasts a long, long time with a smooth, soft chew. Get some and see how fast you can make it disappear. Well, theoretically, I could make it disappear just by swallowing it. I'm not advising that, mind you, I'm just saying. The ad also shows how to do a magic trick with the bubble yum that involves dropping the gum into your other hand to trick people into thinking you made it disappear. Yes, amuse people with cheap parlor tricks with your gum instead of just chewing it like you're supposed to. Going into the late 80s, we have this ad for a little accessory for your NES. Playing games on the Nintendo Entertainment System will never be the same with Acclaim's new double-player system. 2 people playing on an NES at once? What sorcery is this? Actually, the system is for playing with wireless controllers, probably an innovative idea at the time. I can't think of any game systems before that point that offered a wireless option. Mind you, since I grew up with a Sega Genesis and not an NES, I can't say if this thing actually worked or not, but I give points for trying to do it. However, I apparently don't get any points with my fans because I've never played any Zelda games before. My favorite part of this ad is the picture of the 2 kids. They just look so intense and pumped for this game. They look like they're about to beat the other person to death with the wireless controller. I will bury you! Though the ironic thing is that the game they're so pumped for, it appears to be WrestleMania for the NES, which I've heard is not a very good game. While we're on the video game kick, let's take a quick look at an ad for a TurboGrafx-16, the higher energy video game system. Marvel at your electricity bill as our gaming console consumes higher amounts of energy. The difference between new TurboGrafx-16 and other video game systems is all in your head. And that is a blatant lie, judging from this ad. Take a look, it's not in our heads! Our heads are exploding thanks to this thing! Our heads are shattering into little pieces to fit in a TurboGrafx-16 screen! No! No! The TurboGrafx-16 is taking over my brain! I'd be remiss if if I didn't talk about the infamous Hostess ads that ran for over a decade in comics. They are bizarre and nonsensical and friggin' hilarious. Take this one for example. The Thing in Sunday Punch. A quiet Sunday. Or is it? Actually, the quiet Sunday is interrupted by a giant... well, it appears to be a building shaped in a humanoid fashion, but then it says this. I am programmed to destroy... So it's a giant robot that looks like a building? The Thing tries to punch it. Oof, my Sunday punch ain't doing much. And there's your title, people. That's the only reason that this thing is called Sunday Punch. The Thing realizes he can take it down, but there's a problem. I gotta get these rubberneckers to safety first. But how? How jaded are the people in the Marvel Universe if they're not already running in fear of the giant robot building? So how does the Thing get the people to scamper away? Why, he throws a bunch of Hostess fruit pies out into the crowd. Hey, Hostess fruit pies! Real fruit filling. Apple, cherry, peach. Light, tender crust. Wow! You hand over that peach-flavored pie, or I'm gonna shoot you in the face! You can have my Hostess fruit pie, but only after you pry it from my cold, dead fingers. And thus the Thing is able to smash the building robot without fear of any debris crushing people, ignoring the fact that he didn't throw the fruit pies very far, and thus people are exactly where they were before. Not his smartest move. And hell, the giant building robot wasn't even as insane as these things got. Take a look at this one from 1977. Batman and Robin, birds of a feather. Stealing the Statue of Liberty? Holy cow! Pigeon woman, we'll clip your wings. The name's Pigeon Person. Robin, you imitation bird, you'll never stop me. Oh, come on, he didn't even call you Pigeon Girl or anything. And I know I usually like alliteration, but Pigeon Person is just dumb. Then again, I'm looking for sanity in an advertisement featuring the Statue of Liberty getting airlifted by an army of pigeons. James and the Giant Peach, this is not. Tomorrow we steal America's last statue! And an America without statues is an America without a past! Cyber Leader, you do it.
There is logic in what he says.
Batman and Robin meet up with a bunch of military personnel. The Bat Computer has plotted Pigeon Person's next plot. She plans to pluck Mount Rushmore. I don't think she's going to have quite enough pigeons. The military let Batman do his plan, which is to have 3 fighter jets drop hundreds of Hostess cupcakes, which all the pigeons immediately flock to obtain. My birds will do anything for that! That's right, even betray you. Pigeon Person, get ready to have your feathers plucked. You will be publicly executed for defying the will of the great god Hostess. I can't blame my pigeons for betraying me. Even a bird brain knows that a Hostess cupcake in the beak is worth any 2 statues in the street. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Statues are worthless. Only Hostess cupcakes are worth living and dying for. Let's close this little exploration of advertisements with something I haven't seen in a long time in comics. Stuff you could order out of the back pages. This kind of crap stuck around for decades, lasting even longer than the Hostess ads. Eventually they were replaced more and more for ads from mail-in retailers who just sold back issues of comics before disappearing altogether. But for the longest time, you could order all sorts of stuff. For example, for a mere 95 cents, you can order a remote-controlled 7-foot life-size ghost. You control in secret, ready to operate. Rises, falls, floats, spooky effects, darts, dances, frighten people with cheap novelty and obviously fake-looking ghosts. Even Casper is more convincing than this thing. How about a giant mystery stamp bag? You can get $20 worth of stamps from around the world. Wow! And since the stamps are no doubt made for a foreign currency, they're absolutely useless to me. Especially since I could just go down to the bank and get some stamps. Score! My favorite has always been the air cars or hovercrafts available. Glides like magic over floors, sidewalks, even water. Sleek car of the future uses principle of air suspension to ride on cushion of air above most any surface. Warning, does not work on the following surfaces. As a kid, I always wondered if these things actually worked. I was very tempted to buy one and see. This particular ad is from 1976 and was available for $4.50, but the ones I always saw when I was a kid were for $20. If anyone has ever ordered one of these things, I'd love to know if they ever really worked. This particular set of orderables also has quite a few Star Trek items for sale, including a 3-piece set of a communicator, phaser, and tricorder model, and all for the low, low price of $2.95. Out of curiosity, I went onto eBay and checked. These things can go for anywhere between $8 and $50, depending on who you get them from. Not bad for toys that are over 30 years old. Star Trek Book and Record. Hear and see your favorite Star Trek 23rd Century action comes alive as you read. Yeah, the advertisement's grammar is all over the place with this one. Because poor literacy is groovy. And considering that next week I'm planning on reviewing an old Star Trek comic, I think we'll end there. This episode has been a bit of an experiment. I don't know if this look at advertisements is anywhere near as entertaining as the Nostalgia Critics look at commercials, so let me know what you think, and let me know if you want to see me try this again. Come on, do Hostess cakes really have that much power over people? They're mine! Yeah. What? These are Little Debbie's.